McCausland, can you please take roll?
Mrs. Feiss. She's
I'm
online.
here.
Thank you.
Here.
Mrs. Hadley.
Here.
Mrs. Hoppy.
Here.
Mrs. Janasek. Mr. McGregor.
Here.
Mr. Modrak.
Here.
Mr. Scalzo.
Here.
Mrs. Turner.
Here.
Mr. Christensen.
Here.
8 members present.
Thank you. I'd like a motion to adopt the agenda for business items tonight.
So moved.
Motion was made by Mr. Scalzo, seconded by Ms. Turner.
Voting is open. Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the February 20,
So moved.
January 16th? Okay. Moved by Ms. Scalzo. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. McGregor, seconded.
Voting is open. Motion carries.
Thank you. I'd like to announce executive session that was held earlier this evening, February 27th, for personnel, other legal matters, and to receive information. Do we have a student government report? I think we do. Yes.
Hello. All right, I'm Caleb. I'm here with student government. So SGA finished Wish Week. First we held an assembly with games and other spirit activities. Then students and staff had 1 week to complete a Google form requesting small gifts for their friends and favorite staff members. For an example, students could receive a wish like a chocolate bar or a bracelet, but they could also wish for unique gifts like a squishmallow or a plastic tiara. We were able to grant over 1,600 wishes. Next on SGA's calendar is Staff Appreciation Week. Each committee will have a different task that shows our staff how much we appreciate their hard work. For an example, we will host a lunch lady luncheon, staff breakfast, and giving donuts and coffee to the crossing guards and the security team. This will take place the second week of May. SG is also planning on attending the Region B PASC conference. This conference takes place every year and grants opportunities for students to attend workshops that will improve their student government. This year, our SGA President, Madeline Sams, and Secretary Lila Walsh will be hosting a workshop of their very own.
Thank you. Good report. Is there a PTA report? No? How about the solicitor report?
I just want to add that in addition to the items identified for executive session, we also discussed litigation and litigation strategy. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any committee reports from board members? No? Superintendent's report.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. We'll start first with our monthly opportunity to remember why we are in this position, and that's the students and the student experience. And so tonight we have, representing George Washington Elementary School, the next school in line for a presentation. We've heard from several schools each month over the past few months, and looking forward to seeing what our elementary friends at George Washington have to share with us tonight. I'd like to introduce Mr. Pearson, who's going to start, and he brought some members of the staff to back him up with good stories, including the librarian who's maybe even brought a book to read or something good. Yeah. Great. So we're all yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Walsh. Good evening, everyone. I just really want to start by thanking you for this opportunity to really highlight some of the great things that happen at Washington Elementary. We're really proud of the things that go on there, and we've been excited to share with you some of the things that our students are doing and our teachers are doing as well. But before I get started, I'd like to introduce our team here. We have with us today our librarian, Mrs. Manella. Mrs. Becky Manella. Miss Laura Huth is a first grade teacher, and a third grade teacher, Mrs. Tammy Williams. So before I get started on all this, I really have to tell you how much I appreciate the work that these three have done to put this presentation together. A short presentation like this has taken quite a bit of time for us to make sure that it's good, and it is good. But in addition to all the hard work in putting this presentation together, these three are really special educators, and I want to thank them for all that they do for our students each and every day. This was our team to present for you today, but it really the amount of work to put this presentation together didn't just stop with the four of us. It really was a collaboration with our entire staff. We were kind of inundated with a lot of things teachers wanted to share, wanted you to know what was happening in their classrooms. So I want to thank the staff at Washington Elementary as well, and all that they do for kids every day. It's a special place, and we're really proud to represent George Washington Elementary in this great district, so thank you. As you'll see from our presentation, the theme, we were thinking like, how are we going to present this to all of you to have it make sense? And we thought that we would show how we would center it around community. We've picked four areas to highlight: the classroom community, the school community, the family community, and the Bethel Park community. So I'm going to start first, since I'm already up here, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the classroom community, because that is really where, all the magic happens for our kids, right? In that classroom, have a great teacher, interacting, engaging students in their learning every day, and it's something that I think, the results that we get, we're proud of. The happiness that we get from our students, we're proud of. And, just want to share a little bit of that. That's all great stuff that happens every day when the teacher closes that door and they engage with those students. And we all know there's good stuff going on there. But I just wanted to kind of highlight, because I heard I want to keep it to a minimum time frame here.
The Villani effect.
I know, Mr. Villani. He has a lot of good stuff going on up there, so obviously he had a lot to say. But, so I want to talk a little bit about what's new for us this year, right? We have a number of new programs that we're working on, we're building upon, and the first one I want to talk about is our MTSS framework and the Students Assistance Program. This has been a real positive program to implement this year for our students. I'm fortunate that I'm on the administrative team to help roll it out across the district with Dr. Minch, Mrs. Figlioli, Mrs. Wells, and Mr. Chalice. And we meet periodically. We discuss how the program's going and the implementation of it. We've moved from the old IST program, and now we have the MTSS program. When teachers have a concern with the student, whether it be a mental health concern or an academic concern, they recommend that student through our Students Assistance Program. We meet bi-weekly and we triage those concerns, and if it's a mental health concern, it goes to our social worker. If it is we go through the mental health side of the things. If it's an academic concern, we move it through our MTSS process. And I would be remiss if I did not mention our MTSS math specialist and our MTSS reading specialist. Mrs. Dressler is our MTSS math specialist. Mrs. Galantine is our MTSS reading specialist. And they've been instrumental in helping for me to roll this out at the building level. They've been great sounding boards, have offered great advice, and really roll up their sleeves and dig in because they're on our SAP team and Mrs. Dressler runs our MTSS process. So they're doing a great job. So the next thing is we have our K-2 MAP fluency program, our assessments that we're doing. That's new this year, but similarly, we have the K-4 MAP math growth assessment, and that's been happening for a few years. So math has been, we used to do the reading growth assessment. We've moved to the fluency program. Both of these are really helpful in helping us to identify students who have needs and allow us to then take that data and, have teachers provide interventions for kids in the classroom. So that tier 1 level of support happening in the classroom because we use this data to do that. It also helps us in our tier 2 in our flex time. And then it's kind of split between tier 2A and 2B. Our reading specialists and math specialists kind of take them in 2B and have small groups of kids in order to provide those interventions. So that's been really powerful for us as well. We have a second grade teacher who's piloting the new ELA program. That's going very well, and hopefully by the end of the year, she'll have good information for us to add to the district pilot to whether or not we come to you and ask for a new ELA program or not. So that would be, that's really going well for her. We have the zones of regulation. This is a program that was piloted in our building last year. This year we have other teachers that are using the program, and it really helps us to provide a structured program for students to help them self-regulate. So we use the same language for these, and have students identify kind of where they are on the color chart and help them through some of the anxiety or those issues that they may be having or concerns. We have our 3rd and 4th grade Students Goals Gala that we've done now. We've had 2 of those, and that's been wonderful as well to see students, especially at the elementary level, developing goals, right? Personal goals and academic goals, and really working towards achieving those goals. So it's really a nice foundation for them for life to be able to then figure out, when you have a problem or you have something that you want to work towards, how do you go about doing that? So those are the new things that are happening in the classroom in our school. In addition to kind of the classroom activities, we have grade level activities. So I've asked the staff to kind of, give us the things that you do as a grade level, and you can see there's quite a bit. Each grade level we kind of narrowed it down to like 3 things that they were doing as a grade level to be able to interact with students across the grade level and include families in that learning process. So as you see here, we have kindergarten with 1st grade, 2nd grade, all of their activities, and then the next slide is 3rd grade and 4th grade. So quite a bit. So that's the classroom community, and we're now going to move on to the school community. And when we look at the entirety of our school, we engage students in the classroom, but now we're going to talk about school-wide events that really foster that sense of belonging for our students. So I'm going to pass this off to Becky, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about it.
So Washington has numerous examples of building school community, one of which includes our George Washington Illustration Award, a mock Caldecott Award, that is hosted in our school library. Every January, all of our students from kindergarten through fourth grade become official members of the George Washington Illustration Award Committee. After listening to 4 stories that were published the previous year, students vote on which one they feel was the most distinguished in terms of illustrations and general story elements. The winning book receives the prestigious sticker that is in the top corner of the screen and quickly becomes a well-circulated title in the library as students are eager to take it home and share it with their families. Another example of our school community includes Washington's Accelerated Reader Program. Our teachers and staff collaborate each year to bring an exciting Accelerated Reader program to our students with new themes and prizes to have a positive impact on student achievement and connection to reading.
So this year, the teachers were asked to accept the challenge to join the kindness campaign across the county. Whether it was birthday supplies for underprivileged kids, creating kindness robots, adding to the kindness board, collecting supplies for elderly dogs, or painting kindness rocks, Washington had a significant participation in this kindness challenge. We also have a collaborative partnership between our speech and language pathologist and the learning support teachers, where they join together to focus on building language and communication skills through various activities, including having a kickball game when a peer is ready to exit speech services. Also, through a grant, we have teachers, the speech and language pathologist, and also the life skills support teacher, implement a reverse inclusion program that provides both the general education students and the students from our life skills program to engage in various STEAM and social activities in both the general education classroom and the life skills classroom. This allows all of the students to have a shared classroom experience. Traditionally, we think of students being included in the general education setting, but here, our students in the Life Skills Support Program get to welcome their peers into their classroom, providing students with a very different perspective.
We also received a grant to take part in Michaela's Voice program. Their mission is to inspire kids of all abilities to share the message of inclusion. Michaela's Voice develops and coordinates unique and innovative programs that allow children with and without disabilities to work and play together. Our school took part in the Wheels of Friendship art mural. The program consisted of 4 sessions. First, students collaborated ideas to come up with a theme of how to illustrate spreading kindness. The focal point of our mural is a tree. Gabby Passanetti, the program coordinator for Michaela's Voice, then sketched out the scene for our students to work on together to make the mural come to life. They added varying colored tissue paper and glued it to the canvas. During our final session, students used a wheelchair to place the final touches of our mural. Gabby will come back in April to showcase our artists and their artwork. The artwork will be framed and placed in a prominent location of our building for all to see. The grant also gives us access to Michaela's bookshelf. The bookshelf has enrichment activities aligned with PA and national standards for grades K through 12 to help educators continue the discussion about inclusion, kindness, and friendship.
So I'm going to introduce the next area, and that's the family community. This is a real important area for us because we recognize that invaluable partnership between home and school. And we really do actively seek to strengthen those ties with families. We work super closely with our PTO. I mean, that is our PTO really, instruction is the core of what goes on in the classroom. Our PTO is the core of what we do outside of that because they do so many things for us, and we would not be able to do a lot of the things that we do without their involvement. Our goal here really is to just bridge that gap between school and home. So we love the PTO, and we love working with them, and we appreciate all that they do for us.
One of our family traditions includes taking the time to celebrate and honor the veterans of our students and our fellow staff members in a meaningful way. This is why we created a red, white, and blue We Thank You bulletin board for Veterans Day. For the second year in a row, students and staff were invited to send in a photo of their veteran or veterans that they would like to have acknowledged in our front lobby display during the month of November. This year, we were proud to honor over 80 veterans that are family members and friends of both of our students and staff.
Washington Elementary Run Club, AKA We Run, has been up and running for 12 years now. Teresa Vescovi and myself started this club in partnership with the Pittsburgh Marathon's Kids of Steel, KOS, running program back in 2012. Our workout Wednesdays begin in March and run through late April during students' recess time, with staff members volunteering their time to encourage and monitor students. The goal is to enjoy running while getting fit and having fun with friends. This program has grown tremendously over the years, along with our partnerships with KOS. Mrs. Vescovi is now at Ben Franklin and is actively involved in their running club. Each year in late April, we bring both schools together for a 1-mile fun run evening event on the Montour Trail. We even have some healthy snacks and water to replenish our runners after they are done. It is always a huge and extremely fun event.
In our last area is the Bethel Park community. And this kind of ties the whole thing together because, you know, we know that there are many opportunities for collaboration, service, and civic engagement in our community. So we really feel strongly that creating these partnerships with local organizations, businesses, and community leaders really enriches the experience for our students. Throughout the year, we do a number of service projects that focus on people, but I think what makes things a little special at Washington is that you know, we have Mrs. Williams, who is the recycling guru, and we focus a lot on saving the environment as well. So I'm going to pass this off to her.
All right. In collaboration with Fred Pearson, Andy Amrine from Evie Hardware, and Tom Milani from Michael Brothers, this program was born in 2019 and has continued to grow each year. The Green Team members are 4th graders, and we meet twice a month before the start of the school day. We currently have over 30 members. We work to spread awareness about the importance of caring for our planet. Students' excitement is contagious, and younger students look forward to taking part in our club when they will be in 4th grade. We are particularly proud of some major accomplishments that we have achieved over the last few years. In 2020, we participated in the PepsiCo nationwide recycling contest, where we came in 7th place and won $250. We used that money to purchase seed packets for the entire school to commemorate Earth Day in 2021. In both 2022 and 23, we took 3rd place in our video contest through PROP, which is Professional Recyclers of PA. We had 2 students win the PROP poster contest, and their artwork was displayed on their calendar. Students take ownership in collecting all of the materials from our many drop-off locations throughout our building. By partnering with these organizations, we are keeping waste out of landfills, along with earning money for our Green Team. This slide highlights our students in action.
We look forward to continuing our student-driven work to build environmental awareness and empathy within our school and beyond our walls. One of the big events with the Green Team is the metal recycling drive. Last year, the Green Team collected nearly 2.5 tons of metal during this 3-hour event and earned over $500 for our club, just by offering members of our community a chance to keep metals out of landfills. To promote this event last year, the Green Team wrote and created a commercial working with Bethel Park TV, and the event was highlighted by Trib Live. The Green Team was even featured on KDKA's On a Positive Note with Kim Gable, as you will see here. Hopefully.
So we already knew things like this can be recycled, right? Aluminum cans. But I am getting quite an education today on some of the other things that we can prevent from going into landfills. So you guys are telling telling me all of this can be recycled? Yes! We'll tell you how there's change in the world coming up on a positive note.
Based on our positive response from the community and the eagerness of our Green Team members, we are once again partnering with Vericheck Technical Services, Scrap University Kids, and Michael Brothers to create another one-day metal recycling event. The second annual metal drive will be hosted on Saturday, March 23rd from 9 a.m. to noon in Washington's parking lot. The Green Team is so excited to offer this second metal drive to our Bethel Park community, which shows our students how one small act can make a big impact. We hope to see you and your metal recycling on Saturday, March 23rd.
So in conclusion, we'd like to thank you for this opportunity to really showcase our wonderful school. Our hope is that this presentation has shown how we work together to build a strong and sturdy foundation for all of our students, one that is grounded in the principles of community and connection. As we move throughout the remainder of the year, we are set to make sure that every student feels supported, empowered, and capable of reaching their fullest potential. So we just want to wish you all have a wonderful evening, and again, thank you for allowing us to present tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
While they're taking a picture, I think what we appreciate administratively is there's always somebody at Washington willing to be a part of a pilot or a test or a particular challenge. We can count on them to have a teacher or teachers who will step up and take some risks with us to try and improve the operation, improve the systems. You heard this evening, for instance, MTSS is growing exponentially well at Washington, and the reading program pilot at Washington. Last year it was the zones, thank you, zones of regulation program. I'm looking at you, Dr. Minch, and you're looking blankly back at me. But anyway, my point was that I appreciate that we can always count on Washington to be out there in front and, pick up the flag and carry it forward with us, and get take those risks, because that is, trying a new reading program comes at a little bit of a risk. It's a lot more work, chance of students struggling that you had not experienced before, or conversely, you get a lot of success out of it. So thank you for that. And thanks for also being a leader in the community on the recycling and the Green Team, and really set the bar high. I'm sure Dr. Korsinski could fill your barrels if he... His OCD-ness will come... Yeah, so, yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
The other part, we have two more presentations to get to. We always hear from our communications department and our curriculum department, but I also try and squeeze in at this time of the meeting an update for the board on progress with the strategic plan. I spent a lot of time last week talking about updates to the plan and setting new bars for us for the next 2.5 years till 2026. And what I've put at your desks coming in tonight is the beginnings of the revised balanced scorecard. This is the very public-facing document by which we track our progress with both the action steps and the larger goals under each action step, or pardon me, above each action step. What's yet to be done in this version of it, though, is identifying what is going to be the source, the metric, whether it's the leading indicator or lagging indicators. We had those pretty well nailed down for the first 2.5 years, but as we continue to make progress, some of those have become already achieved, already accomplished, so we got to set new bars for ourselves, new targets. And so that work will happen as we get closer and closer to adopting a revised version of the strategic plan and the balanced scorecard to go with it. If you went on the website today, you'd see the old balanced scorecard, which was tracking progress on all the all the multiple goals and action steps from the beginnings of the strategic plan. But there's also on display the updates to that plan as well. So if you anybody from the community wanted to take a look, I've gotten some good feedback already thanks to that public display. It's time now for our 5 big things, and so I'll ask Mr. Cromie to take the microphone and give us some good news from across the district.
Great. That's one of the great things about working at Bethel Park is there's never a shortage of wonderful things happening here. And our first thing we're going to talk about tonight is Big Fish. Bethel Park High School will present Big Fish March 13th through the 16th at 7 p.m. each night. Tickets will go on sale on March 1st and are $10 each plus fees, and they must be purchased online. The musical beautifully tells the story of a frustrated son who tries to distinguish fact between fact and fiction, and the life of his father, who is a teller of tall tales, but who is now dying, and it's a beautiful story of reconciliation. Not to be outdone, but somewhat confusingly, the middle school is doing a musical called High School Musical, so that's been easy to communicate. That's March 7th through the 9th at 7:30 p.m. each night. General admission seating is $8 each plus fees. And again, all the tickets must be purchased online. High School Musical, if you haven't seen it, it's a story that centers on the blossoming relationship between Troy, a high school jock, and Gabriella, the new smart girl at school. They meet on a family vacation and become attracted to each other while singing in a karaoke competition, very similarly to how Mr. Pictionary met his wife.
You know, Mr. Cromie, what you didn't say is the best news of all is that if tonight's agenda passes, that we will know this will be the last chance you get to sit in one of those seats in the IMS auditorium.
Oh, that's true.
And
That's
have the little metal sprongs sticking in your rear end for 2.5 hours. So don't miss out on the last chance you get.
That's part of the thrill of an IMS concert, is you never know what you're going to sit on. And
You're going to sell the seats at the end of the night?
Absolutely, they're worth something.
so yeah, but it's really exciting, and it's a great musical, and it's very popular, and I'm sure they do a wonderful job at IMS, and I'm sure they'll do a great job with this. 25 Bethel Park High School students have qualified for the DECA International Career Development in Anaheim in April, based on their performance at last week's PA DECA Career Development Conference. An additional 10 students were named finalists and competed in the event finals. Seniors Lexi Dorfner, who's the vice president, and Arabella Cicero, the District 3 representative, presided over the conference. Dorfner also earned a $1,000 scholarship for the State Officer of the Year, and Cicero and Tommy Bova, also a senior, each earned a $500 gift certificate or a scholarship from PA DECA. So it's wonderful. They do an awesome job. Mrs. Smoller and her crew, it's incredible. We are a machine in DECA. Another group that just does an amazing job year after year is our Best Buddies program. The Bethel Park High School Best Buddies program participated in the 2024 Cool Schools Polar Plunge last Friday at Acrisure Stadium. I'm still calling it Heinz Field on Pittsburgh's North Shore. Bethel Park raised more than $3,500 for Special Olympics Pennsylvania. And if you didn't see them, there's some pretty amazing pictures, including of Mr. Pictionary, who was Superman, Dr. Mensch, Mr. Villani. I loved it. It was... I was scared. You reminded me of Laverne and Shirley. You were like, Schlemiel, Schlemazel. So here we are. And finally, last week, Bethel Park School District hosted a staff wellness day. The employees were treated to a series of wellness-themed lectures that included everything from better understanding their benefits to financial planning, mindfulness, stress management, and more. Each of the 41 vendors donated their time, and many also contributed to more than 100 raffle items to the cause. I'd also like to acknowledge, even though he's not photographed there, Mr. McCausland really was instrumental in helping to pull that together. And Mrs. Figlioli and Mrs. Wallace, our school nurse, they all did a wonderful job. It was a really nice event, and we got incredibly positive feedback, not only from our staff, but also from the vendors who were saying that it's one of the better ones they've been to. So congratulations, guys. You did a great job. And those are the 5 big things.
Thank you, Mr. Cromie. Of course, we look forward to that every month. I do want to acknowledge that wellness activity really did send a powerful message to our faculty, our staff, our support staff, all of the support programs that they're cared for, and we want the best out from them and out of them as employees of the Bethel Park School District. I think probably the most popular breakout session, though, was the retirement planning one, so I'm not sure what to make of that as a wellness sign of good wellness or not. But it was a popular one. It filled up quickly. Okay, and then last for my part of the agenda is our curriculum department who want to share the bright spots from the month.
Ms. Wells, can you hear us? We can't hear you. Do you have to unmute? She's unmuted. Can't hear you.
Ms. Wells was just wanting to make sure that everyone was aware of kindergarten registration. Everything is on the website and getting ready to go. May 14th will be the day that happens, and these are all the documents that are needed for that upload. I did not attend the Literacy Data Takeover Week, so I'm not even going to try to explain what that experience was, but I know that was something. Amplify is the publisher of the CKLA reading series that we're piloting, and they really do offer a lot of learning opportunities and a lot of support for implementation, and so this was one of the many things that they offer for us. Continue, like Mr. Pearson said, to offer MAP fluency trainings. This is a brand new tool for teachers, so really trying to make sure they understand how the tool is used, why we're using it, and to make sure that the data is then used to impact instruction. I, this week, just wanted to spend a little bit of time giving a shout out to some of the educators in the district who are initiating some of the STEAM activities. The NAM Science Club is a district-funded activity, and we have really two awesome grant-funded projects, one of which is through the United Way, and the other through the Bethel Park Foundation. That was just funded in December, so that one is just getting started. The NAM Science Club this year is being led by Amy Cifoletti, who is a music teacher, who in the last 2 years, starting with during COVID, decided to pursue a degree in computer science. And so she is a fearless music educator that is also just really passionate about computer science. And so she's running the science club this year. It's grades 5 and 6. NAM's clubs happen in the morning before school, and she had 36 students sign up this year. And she's really trying to build a foundation for the exploration of computer science and some of those principles. She was using an open source platform, which is Scratch, for block-based coding, snap circuits, and hummingbird kits, which we use the lending libraries from the Allegheny Intermediate Unit. So we had the snap circuits and the hummingbird kits from them, and she really wanted to explore those more with the students. What's nice about snap circuits, I don't know if everyone sees the parallel between circuitry and coding, but it really does bridge that physical and digital divide when you're working with circuits. You've got to explore things like sequences and algorithmic thinking. You've got to debug. You're not going to get it right every time. Inputs and outputs are similar in circuits as they are in programming. And as you can see by the students' faces, they just love to experiment and be creative. They are not afraid to try new things, and she has just spoken so highly of the student participation in the club. And I love that they are coding and building circuits with the keyboards in the background in true Bethel Park fashion. The hummingbird robotics kits were very popular, and we only had one kit through the Allegheny Intermediate Unit. So we did purchase a flock of the hummingbird kits, so that is enough for 30-plus students to work in groups of 2 or 3. So now we own those. Those can be used by any class in NAMS, and they're a really, really versatile tool that you can use in a lot of different capacities. Essentially, the hummingbird kits are merging the combination of electronics, you're using programming, and ultimately you're creating a robotic
This robot starts with low-tech materials. You're essentially building something out of cardboard and craft materials, hot glue, tape, and then you're using the motors and the sensors and the LEDs to bring it to life. So it's got a really low floor. It's very easy for the kids to fearlessly try it, but it's got a really high ceiling as far as moving from block-based coding to more sophisticated coding like Java or Python. But these have been really popular, and we're excited that the district was able to purchase those for NAMS this year. Also want to give a shout out to Brad Kay. I never try to pronounce his last name because I will butcher it, but he applied for a United Way school champion grant, a STEM champion grant, and he was awarded $12,000 this year, and he wanted to expand his advanced media course in a way that, you know, we do great things in conjunction with BPTV and really doing things like video and TV production, but he wanted the kids to really be able to see how is video used in career applications beyond just basic media production. So he was able to purchase a borescope. That's just something that you can use to inspect the inside of things. The thermal imaging camera was very cool. It allows you to see the temperature of things visually. When I went in one day, the kids were having a lot of fun walking around the room, putting it up to the windows and different things to experiment with it. And I was really, really lucky that I got to spend a period with them exploring the slow motion camera. And those are really awesome because they are able to capture things that you can't capture with your regular eyesight or even a regular camera. And so when I went in that day, he had the camera set up. This is something he's really wanted to have for the studio for a long time. It's an expensive piece of equipment. We were really excited to be able to bring it to Bethel Park. And he had a variety of items out that the students could explore. He used the grill lighter. We had water. He had coins. All kinds of different things that the students could take videos of and just watch it and try it in different angles, try it at different speeds. And one of the students had just gotten a new cell phone that had the same capabilities. And so it was really cool to see him comparing with Mr. K, who had the better footage, in his opinion. And again, we're very excited. This is on the agenda for your approval tonight. Mr. August is a teacher at Independence Middle School. Traditionally, his course has been called 21st Century Learning. He earned a $3,000 grant. His classroom will be moving into the library, the STEAM space in the library when that reopens in the beginning of the fall. And so his vision for this grant was really to be able to start getting some equipment for that space and also have some more opportunity for the students that are taking that Invention Land course and have a lot of opportunities with diverse materials for them to be able to build their prototypes. So he bought 3D printers, a silhouette cutter, a heat press, which can be used with the silhouette cutter, and also a vinyl cutter that we were able to get last year through another United Way grant, and an embroidery machine. And these tools really allow the kids to, when they're using graphic design or 3D modeling, it's just a really incredible experience for them to see their designs come to life. So I really just wanted to give a shout out to 3 fearless educators who are trying new things and learning right along with the students. So a lot to be proud of.
That's it? Okay, great, thank you.
I'm sorry, save the date, May 4th is the Arts Fest and STEAM Expo, May 4th. May the 4th be with you, expect some Star Wars stuff.
Yes, great, thank you. And thanks, Mr. Cromie. Thanks to our Washington members that were able to present that school and remind us again why we love Bethel Park. So we're going to move on, turn it back over to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. At this point in the meeting, we'll accept any public comments on agenda items that are on the agenda tonight. You have 2 minutes. Any comments online?
No callers.
No? Okay. Let's move on to the business items. Ms. Headley, can you take the consent agenda items, please?
Sure. I'd like to move consent agenda items 1 through 25. Does anyone want any of those held out?
I'm going to second that motion.
Okay. Motion was made by Ms. Headley, seconded by Mr. Scalzo.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you. Mr. Scalzo, we have one item on the curriculum committee.
Okay, one item. The Board of School Directors approves the administration's recommendation to permit qualifying high school students and their chaperones determined based on the number of qualifying students to participate in the following competition. DECA International Career Development Conference, Anaheim, California, April 26, 2024 through May 21st, 2024. Emily Smoller, Maria Christensen, Matt Short, and Joshua Lape as chaperones, along with 28 qualifying students to attend the DECA International Career Development Conference in Anaheim, California. I'd like to move item 1.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Mr. Scalzo, seconded by Mr. Modrak. And by the way, I'm going to abstain since my wife is a part of this motion.
Voting is open. Motion carries with one abstention.
Thank you. Mr. McGregor, can you take Personnel Committee?
Okay, tonight we have 4 items. I'd like to read through those, have any discussion, and then have a vote, and then I would like to say one more thing prior to moving on to Finance Committee. So there are 4 items under Personnel. 1, approval of extra duty responsibility programs. Number 2, appointment of personnel, substitute. Number 3, approval of job descriptions. And number 4, appointment of personnel.
Is there a second?
Second.
So the motion was made by Mr. McGregor, seconded by Mrs. Turner.
I do have a question. The appointment of substitute personnel, are we going to start a bench for substitute personnel? As I believe Dr. Korzinski has said before, we need substitute bus drivers, substitute other things. So is there going to start to be a bench for that?
We are actually going to be hosting a Bethel Park job fair through HR for all those positions, and then we will be posting out all those availabilities once we have that, and that'll be coming soon.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Voting is open. Motion carries 8-0.
Okay, and the last item under personnel is tonight, under number 4, we had appointment of personnel, Mr. Doug Costa, our Director of Technology, we just approved. I'd like to have him come up and maybe, say the Pledge of Allegiance yourself, or
No, come
tell
up
us a
and
little bit something about yourself.
come
That'd
up
be
and
great.
fix something.
Mr. Costa, here we go. And everyone out there, that's the back of Mr. Costa's head, so when you turn, get a slow move. All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you to everyone. Just want to say that it's an honor, and I'm excited to join the community, join the team, and get to work with everyone here at Bethel Park. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Welcome. So I just wanted to add to that, we looked at a lot of applicants, and, one of the things that Mr. Costa really brings is a mix of not only experience working in the educational environment, but also working kind of in the outside world also, and I thought brought a really good perspective of, what's on the outside also, as well as what's in education. I think that's a great asset that you can bring to us, so excited to have you on board. Mrs. Turner, can you take the Finance Committee items?
Yes, there are 6 items under finance. One is the approval of the proposed K-5 elementary school project to Mid-Atlantic LLC for special inspections and construction materials. The acceptance of the Bethel Park Education Foundation grant that Mrs. Figueroli had talked about. The payment for the new K-5 elementary school project to Rycon Construction, the payment of the new elementary school project to Interstate Fire Protection Company, the payment of the new elementary school K-5 center project, to Bova Construction for the food service contract for the new K-5 elementary school, and finally, an amendment to the GISA contract with SiteLogic for the completion of Phase 3 of Independence Middle School, which was talked about in the committee meeting. That is finishing the locker rooms in the gym, the music wing, and the auditorium. So as Dr. Walsh says, we have nice new seats for the following years. Concerts and musicals. Any questions? And I believe a representative from SiteLogic is back there if they have anything else.
Is there a second? Motion was made by Ms. Turner, seconded by Mr. McGregor.
Voting is open. Motion carries 8-0.
Ms. Hoppy, can you take the policy committee items? I don't think we have any to vote on, but you might want to walk us through them.
Yep, we do not have any, excuse me, voting items, but there are several here. We have the second of 3 readings on the graduation, records management, and transportation policies, as well as the educational opportunity for military children policy. That's on the second reading. And just to kind of, I don't want to say school, but just to educate the public on how this works, the Pennsylvania School Boards Association submits to us their recommendations for revisions or new policies based on case law and things going on in changes to maybe the PA school code. It really is all based on law so that the public is aware. The Board of 9 and our superintendent don't make it up. We get recommendations from people who know what they're talking about. Those are policies. Administrative regulations are how we implement the policy in our district. So we have policies and we have what we call ARs. We have 3 readings for each policy. When it hits the agenda, that's the first reading, and then we can adjust, tweak, customize to our district in the next 2 readings before we adopt the policy. So tonight, all of those, we are in the second of 3 readings and then the first of 3 readings for policies concerning public comment in board meetings, enrollment of students, and eligibility of non-resident students. We also have some ARs, administrative regulations, included, and they pair with those policies. So just wanted to kind of clarify and maybe educate a little bit, because I'm learning. And when I learn something, I like to share it, because when I share it, then it solidifies what I've learned. And I'm enjoying being the policy chair very much. I pore over these policies and tweak and suggest and back and forth. And to this point, Dr. Walsh and I have a great working relationship concerning what happens, how it works, the process, the whole thing. So that's all I have to say about policy, Mr. Christensen.
Thank you. I appreciate the explanation also. It is important for people to understand how all of these are created and also how they drive what we do at the school level through the ARs. So it's important to understand how all that works. So thank you. While you have the mic, can you take the one item under other also?
So under other, we have a student settlement agreement and release. Let's see. We recommend the Board of School Directors authorize a student settlement agreement and release under terms and conditions recommended by the solicitor, and to authorize the execution of related terms of agreement.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Ms. Hoppy, seconded by Mr. McGregor.
Voting is open. Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you, and that's the end of our voting portion of the meeting. Next, we have public comments on anything related to school matters. You have 2 minutes to speak. Anybody online?
Nobody online.
No? How about board comments? Anybody here got anything to say?
I do. I want to give parents a notice, and then I don't have a phone number, but I'm sure they can find it. There has been some questions about with the late start of the school year this year of August 29th, and a lot of childcare ending by the 12th or the 13th. We were able to, again, meet with Lois Johnson, and they will do the gap fill for those 8 days. They will work with you if you are not a Lois Johnson family, if you are currently not enrolled in their programs, they will work with you to get these 8 days of gap services that you are needing. So they're looking at a whole week of camp, the 18th through the 23rd of August, so your child could participate in that. And then providing services the 26th, 27th, and 28th of August, with school starting the 29th. So for those parents that are looking for care in that 8-day gap where some programs will have ended, please reach out to Jill or Ashley at Lois Johnson, and they will be willing to work with you if your care or whatever you have set up for your child for the summer ends, because we're starting school a week later.
Okay, good. Yeah, thank you.
So it's out there. If you have questions, Lois Johnson does have sources. Thank you.
Any other board comments? No? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned.